Hi, and welcome to the Your Good News podcast with me, Katherine Getty. It's easy to believe the news around us that the world is dark and the future is the same. But what if we chose something different? What if we chose to find the good news in each day? This podcast is a collection of interviews with friends, mentors, colleagues on their good news. From business to health to politics and everything in between, it's my hope that you leave with a boost and find your good news. Welcome back to another episode of the Your Good News podcast. As always, this is your host, Katherine Getty. First up, as always, some good news. So today, my good news is I am feeling much stronger in my running. I shared a few episodes back, but I am training for a few races this year, and I've really consistently showed up for myself in the last month, and I'm finding excitement in the wins. Sometimes it's running a full mile with no stops. Sometimes it's running 10 more seconds than I thought I could. In my mind, I'm celebrating each win, big or small, because they build. Are there big or small wins in your life that you can celebrate? This is just some food for thought and my good news for the week. So here is the meat of the episode. In a world of curated highs and no lows, I find it often hard to acknowledge disappointment. No, not really the feeling. I am someone, if you've joined for other episodes, you'll know this. If you're joining for the first time, I am someone who's all about feeling those feelings, being honest with where you're at, whatever and whenever or wherever they show up for you. But what I struggle with is that uncomfortable feeling of being lost. Loss of what a dream was, or being scared maybe that dream won't come true, and letting that narrative of disappointment feel permanent. Letting that narrative of disappointment feel permanent when it is maybe just a pause. I record this episode on a day I felt pretty sure I knew what life was going to offer me. But life is funny like that. Sometimes, just like that, things shift. I offer up today this experience in the midst of a time when I know so many people that are prepping for the year. And like I said in a different episode, we can feel off track for a variety of reasons or feel like all that prep was for naught. I think, though, that life shows up right on time. I think if we are actively putting in the work, that maybe that roadblock, that disappointment will reveal itself along the way as a blessing. This message, if I'm being really honest, feels deeply personal, and maybe I really needed to write this out. I needed to say this out loud so I didn't forget. Trite, but what I'm thinking now is that after every rainstorm, the sun comes back. Maybe not on the time frame we expect, but just in time. Thank you so much for joining today's episode. I hope you find a nugget to hold on to when that next disappointment comes up. If you liked, please subscribe, leave a review, share with someone you know. These seemingly little actions can really help this little engine, the Your Good News podcast, grow. Also, please reach out to me. I'm on Instagram at Katherine Getty. I'd love to hear your feedback. And as always, I share more about myself in this podcast there. And tune in next week for another episode of the Your Good News podcast.